This is the 14th of May, and this day in Baptist history is try to keep up with these Joneses. And our reading for the scriptures is in Psalm 86, and I'll read verses 8 through 12. Among the gods there is none like unto thee, O Lord, neither are there any works like unto thy works. All nations whom thou hast made shall come and worship before thee, O Lord, and shall glorify thy name. For thou art great, and doest wondrous things. Thou art God alone. Teach me thy way, O Lord. I will walk in thy truth. Unite my heart to fear thy name. I will praise thee, O Lord my God, with all my heart, and I will glorify thy name forevermore. Evan Jones was born in Brecknockshire, Wales on May 14, 1789. Early in his life, his family moved to London, England, and for 13 years Mr. Jones was employed as a merchant. The time of his salvation is unknown, but he came to America and on July 24, 1821, was appointed by the Board of the Baptist Triennial Convention as a missionary to the Cherokee Indians in North Carolina. The missionary was accompanied by his wife, Elizabeth Lanigan Jones, and 3 years later, on December 24, 1824, the couple was blessed with a son, John Buttrick Jones, who was born in Valleytown, North Carolina. The Joneses labored in establishing schools for the Cherokees, and Mrs. Jones assumed the lead in the Sunday school until her untimely death on February 5, 1831. The Sunday school that Mrs. Jones directed was perhaps the first in North Carolina. Mr. Jones entered into the field of evangelism, and God blessed his ministry with many conversions. Baptist churches were soon established, and from 1829 until the Cherokees were so unjustly removed from their land in 1838, there was almost a continual revival in the Cherokee nation. In almost every letter of report to the mission, Evan Jones reported baptisms. Sometimes 10 were baptized on each of 3 successive Sundays, and as many as 36 on one Lord's Day. On the eve of their departure from North Carolina and their beginning the Trail of Tears, 65 baptisms were reported. Scoffers had thought that the conversions among the Indians were spurious, but the long forced journey proved that the confessions of faith were genuine conversions. When the tragic forced march was begun in the summer and fall of 1838, Reverend Evan Jones led a contingent on that cruising expedition. The Baptist magazine carried this report, and I quote, Camp Hestel near Cleveland, Tennessee, June 16. The Cherokees are nearly all prisoners. They have been dragged from their houses and encamped at the forts and military posts all over the nation. In Georgia, especially, multitudes were allowed no time to take anything with them except the clothes they had on. Well-furnished houses were left a prey to plunderers who like hungry wolves follow in the train of the captors. These wretches rifle the houses and strip the helpless, unoffending owners of all they have on earth. Females who have been habituated to comforts and comparative affluence are driven on foot before the bayonets of brutal men. Their feelings are mortified by vulgar and profane vociferations. The poor captive in a state of distressing agitation, his weeping wife almost frantic with terror, surrounded by a group of crying, terrified children, without a friend to speak a consoling word, is in a poor condition to make good disposition of his property, and is in most cases stripped of it all by one blow. All this is not a description of the extreme cases. It is a faint representation of the work which has been perpetrated on the unoffending, unarmed, and unresisting Cherokees. During that fateful journey from North Carolina, Reverend Jones had left his children in Tennessee. Immediately upon his arrival in Oklahoma, he and Reverend Jesse Bushyhead launched into spiritual ministries that would sustain the Cherokees. Having obtained a printing press from the Baptist Mission Board in Boston, Reverend Jones erected a log building to house it. He began publishing the Cherokee Messenger, the first newspaper published in Oklahoma. He continued his faithful ministry among the Cherokees through the years. After 2 years of labor, 130 converts had been baptized, and a new church formed. It is estimated that 700 Baptist Cherokees had made the devastating trek. In the course of time, Evan's son, J.B. Jones, graduated from Rochester University in New York in 1855. The young man was ordained on July 14, 1855, and served as chaplain of the 3rd Regiment of the Union Army during the Civil War. With the war over, J.B. rejoined his father to minister among the Cherokee Nation as well. He proved of great assistance during the declining years of his father's life and became a leader in the political, educational, and religious life of the Cherokees. On July 9, 1866, it was he who signed the Treaty of Washington. He led the Baptists to relocate their center of activity from Westville to Tahlequah, the Cherokee capital. What a contribution Evan and Elizabeth Jones and their son J.B. made to the spiritual welfare of the Cherokees. Reverend Evan Jones' unique ministry among the Cherokee Indians spanned a period of 50 years. He entered into eternal rest on August 18, 1873, at the age of 84 years and 3 months. His purity of character was above reproach, and his body was buried with dignity in Tahlequah to await the glorious resurrection. Failing health overtook Reverend J.B. Jones, and less than 3 years later he was reunited with his parents in the presence of our Savior. He passed from this earthly scene on June 13, 1876, and though his death occurred in Denver, Colorado, his body was also laid to rest in Tahlequah, Oklahoma. May the Lord raise up others who will seek to surpass the Joneses. To God be the glory.